Hey guys, this is going to be my first video in my modded Skyrim playthrough. Fair warning, I am still pretty new to the whole editing thing, so there might be a couple cuts here and there that look stupidly obvious, and the audio might not be all that great, but here's hoping through time everything gets better. To start off, like any early game of Skyrim, we ended up in the character select screen. I decided to pick an orc so I could make a really strong orc warrior who wanted to fight anything that looked at him funny. I couldn't come up with a good name for my orc, so I decided to call one of my friends, and he decided a name for me, Balog. Once I got the name and the race out of the way, I decided to talk to the statue Mara and decide where I'm going to start my new life. Like any true orc would, I started at one of the strongholds. Once I decided, I slept on the bed and woke up in a stronghold. After I woke up in the stronghold, I wanted to see what sort of gear I had. I had some orcish armor, a shield, and a war axe, along with some enchanted rings. Once I geared up, I decided to save just in case my game crashed, because I am running quite a few mods. Once I got everything situated, I decided to take a little walk and look at some wildlife. I had to restart this a couple times because that big thing in the back wanted to kill me. I'm not sure what mod it's from, but I'm 90% sure it's from a mod. I've never seen one of those in vanilla Skyrim before. Once I was done admiring the wildlife, I decided to talk to an alchemist and get me some potions to start. I didn't have much gold to start, so I just bought a couple minor healing potions and a cure disease potion. After buying the potions, I decided it's time to head off. But before I can leave, I had to deal with this vampire. The vampire may have seemed innocent, but the way he looked at me when he opened that door, that was him signing his death warrant. I waited until he was out of the stronghold because I wasn't sure if they were going to turn on me if I killed him. Once I finished him, I decided to loot him for any valuables. He didn't have much, but hey, what are you going to do? After I finished looting him, I decided it was time to head off and start my new life. I decided to place my marker on Whiterun because I figured that would be the best place to start my new life. And then I set off on my journey to Whiterun. But not 5 minutes into my journey, I seen a wolf killing a rabbit. And I decided if there's going to be any killing, I'm going to be the one doing it. A few feet later, I met the wolf's friend and sent him to the same place. A little bit of walking later, I noticed some sort of battle going on. It looked like a battle between Stormcloaks and Imperials, and the Imperials had the upper hand. I searched the bodies of the dead Stormcloaks, but I couldn't find anything of value. I then found the Imperials that had caused this massacre, but I decided against attacking them because I felt like they could destroy me. A little ways down the road, I had noticed a Shrine of Debility and decided to activate it because why not? After seeing what effect it gave me, I continued onward. And then I noticed a wolf fighting a mud crab. After I'd put them both out of their misery, the legendary water goat made an appearance. He appreciated me saving his life, and I continued on to kill another wolf. After I had killed the wolf, I had found some land goats who are less superior to water goats. A few feet after those goats, I had seen a farmer and a gnarl fighting. And like always, if there's a fight going on, I'm gonna be the champion. Once I was finished looting them, I decided to head off once more. A little bit of time had passed until I had found 2 bandits fighting a wanderer. I decided to jump in and take care of the bandits for him. He appreciated me saving him and we set off on our own ways. A little ways down the road, I had came across a carriage that looked like it had been raided. I looked for anything valuable and continued on. Not even 2 minutes later, I had found another caravan that looked like it was raided. I believe it was an ironclad company caravan that got raided by the Thalmor. I looted the bodies and took what I can and continued on. A little bit later, I had come across a cave, the Bloated Man's Grotto. I thought it would be kind of simple. I thought maybe there would be a few bandits, a bear, some wolves, maybe a spriggan or 2. But there wasn't much. There was a couple wolves, but towards the end I regretted turning into that cave. While I was clearing the cave, I heard these weird noises. They sounded like some sort of monster. And once I turned this corner, I realized it was too late to turn back and it one-shot me. Once I respawned, I decided to turn around, leave the cave, and come back at a later time to get my revenge. A ways later, I had came across a fort that seemed to be infested with bandits. I thought it would be simple enough to take over, but I was proven wrong almost immediately as I got into there. I could sit here and lie to you all and say I cleared it in one go, But trust me, that's not how it went. I say alone, I died here roughly 15 times, maybe 20. And it doesn't help that sometimes I kind of turn a little bit dumb when I play games. I do, however, have the Wildcat combat mod on, which makes combat a little more deadly. And I am also playing on Xbox. That's all the excuses I have for the moment. Now sit back and enjoy the show. You may be asking why I'm putting music over the audio. For whatever reason, when I was recording, it didn't record 90% of the game audio. I don't know why. I gotta figure out what's going on with that. But until I get that figured out, here's some more music and enjoy the game. So at this point I've died maybe 10 times, so I decided to make an autosave right where I am. That wizard put up a heck of a fight when I was trying to get in there. And right about here, I'm going to play some of the original audio so you guys can hear how horrible it is. The music will still be there, but it'll be a little bit
Don't do that. Never come here. Just die!
And right about here is where I made another quick save because I didn't want to fight the guy with the hammer again. It took me so long to try to finally kill him.
Kill him. So much easier to roll when you're dead! It's nothing! Split your belly like an old woman's purse! Tell you what, you can stop running, so I stab you in the back. Oh!
After I got finished with these two, I looked around, looted what I could, and continued on. And right about here, I had decided to go up the ladder, but when I got out there wasn't really anything to see, so I just got out that part where I was looking around like an idiot and went right back in. At this point, I had found the door to the prison, so I decided to go in and see what was in there. Once those two were done, I decided to loot the rest of the area and get out of there. I did try to unlock an expert lock, but I decided to break half of my picks instead and just gave up. Once we got out of there, I decided to start heading to Whiterun again. But on my way to Whiterun, I seen some guards fighting some wildlife and wanted to join in. And then just a heads up, fair warning, there is going to be a little bit of lag on this upcoming area. I don't know if it's just when I'm recording or if it's going to be like that on YouTube, but it does look pretty laggy on my end. And my Whiterun is probably going to look a little bit different than the vanilla Whiterun because I have a mod that adds the Whiterun outskirts, which is why you're seeing like a lot more buildings outside of Whiterun and the walls with spikes on them, which is really cool. It adds a little bit of a more Whiterun-y aspect. I don't know how to put it. It just makes it look really good. After I had a look around Whiterun, I decided to go find the companions, and then they told me where I can join. I'm not sure if I'm going to, but I might. After I told the companions I might join them, I decided to go to Uthgerd at the stables. As usual, she was stupidly cocky, so I put her in a place like the pack mule she is. Once I beat her in the fight, I made her my slave and my pack mule. She was hesitant at first, but I made her an offer. She carries my stuff and I don't kill her. We made our way to the gates of Whiterun and entered. Once we got in, there was someone annoyingly talking about the Imperials. I humored him and said I was his friend, but little did he know, in the future I may betray him. Because I personally don't see an orc working for an empire trying to control everything along with working with elves. That just doesn't sit right with me. After that conversation, we went to the Bannered Mare. I decided to talk to the owner and get some food because I haven't eaten since I left the stronghold. Out of the many options there were, I decided to get some ale, some cooked beef, and some cheese. Once I sat down, one of her workers came up and asked if I wanted more food. After I had said no, she let me know that Hulda has some jobs that she might need help with. I wanted to see what sort of work Hulda had on her mind. She had let me know that there's some bounties on some bandits' heads that need to be taken care of. I agreed to take the job, and then I talked to her about magic. She had let me know it's for the week. I agreed. I then asked her about some rumors that had been going on. She let me know that there were some Imperial patrols at Halgan. I decided, why not check it out? After we were finished talking, I asked for a room, and she gladly rented me one for 10 gold. She had told me to follow her to the room, so I stood up and started following her. Once I got to the room, I decided to have a look around, and it looks like we have a balcony overviewing the whole tavern, which is cool. Once I was finished looking around, I decided to go to bed, slept for about 12 hours. When I woke up, I decided it's time to leave and head off on another adventure. I thanked Hulda for letting me stay the night. When we left the tavern, I decided to head to the blacksmith and see if there was anything worthwhile to purchase. When I got there, I decided to help her, see if she needed any help around the forge. She had told me she needed some help crafting an iron dagger and a hide helmet. Given my experience as a blacksmith, it was a piece of cake. After we finished helping her, I decided to see if she had any gear that we needed. After looking for a while, she didn't really have any gear I needed or wanted, but she did have some good crafting materials, so I decided to make my own gear. After I was done crafting the gear, we decided to head to the general store. When I spoke to the shop owner, he didn't really have anything that I could use, so I decided to sell him some gems that I'm not going to use. After I was done selling him some stuff, we decided to leave. Once we got out of the store, we decided to head towards Halgan and see what Holder was talking about. Once we were out of Whiterun, we were off to Halgan. On the way, I came across a destroyed cart. I decided to investigate the rubble and found out there was a journal. Apparently this was a bandit's cart that was heading to Windstand Mine. It's somewhere between Ustengrav and the Highgate Ruins. I decided to mark the mine just for future reference. A little ways up in the fog, I noticed some Imperials escorting a Stormcloak troop. They all pulled out their swords when I approached, so I decided to take them up on that offer. And for whatever reason, the prisoner they were escorting decided to attack, so I had to deal with him too. This was a hard-fought victory. I was surprised I came away without dying. I came really close, but I leveled up just in time. I then finished off the last Imperial and continued forward. A ways down the road, we came across Riverwood. I decided I wanted to talk to the blacksmith and see if he had any gear. He didn't really have anything of interest, so we continued forward. A little ways down the road, we came across a mine with a bandit standing out front. She tried to intimidate me by saying, "It's a bad time to get lost, friend." So I put her in her place, which is in the ground. Following the victory, we entered the mine. Once we got a little deeper, there were two bandits that picked the wrong fight. After looting the bandits, I looked around for a lever that could lower the bridge. With the bridge lowered, two more bandits decided to come from their den. We done what we always do, ended them. After we looted them, we continued on further into the mine. Once we got deeper into the mine, we found another bandit that put up more fight than all of her friends. She even just about killed me and injured my head, but we still made it. Deeper into the mine, we found 3 more bandits that all suffered the same fate. And after we defeated those 3 bandits, the mine was cleared. We just looted it and left. Once we got out of the mine, we continued to Helgen. Along the way to Helgen, we came across the 3 standing stones. I decided to pick the warrior standing stone because why not? I'm an orc warrior. What else am I gonna pick? I made my decision. We headed off to Helgen once more. Along the way, we came across another set of Imperial guards. And what did? They drew their swords, so that's an invitation to kill him. But before I decided to kill him, I decided to free the Stormcloak to see if he would turn on me again. He did not decide to turn on me, but he did get in the way, inevitably killing himself. I was trying to do him a favor by letting him live, but he didn't want that, so he chose death. But on the bright side, these Imperials did put up much more of a fight than the other ones. They almost killed me again. Once we had finished them, we continued our journey. Once we arrived, we noticed a dragon flying from the keep. We were curious on what he did, so we were going to go check it out. After looking around for a bit, we found a burnt corpse that turned to ash as we touched it. But somehow, a leather journal survived, so we read it, and found out that there was someone in the caves that we needed to go save. When we had arrived in the caves, we had heard someone calling for help. I followed the cries for help, and came across Hadvar, an Imperial dog that needed assistance. I was hesitant at first to help him, possibly leaving him for dead, but I thought, why not try to help him? He hasn't done anything to me yet. When I had gave him a potion to get back on his feet, he thanked me gratefully for saving his life. We both made our way out of the caves as it was starting to collapse on us. As soon as we got out of the caves, Hadvar had tried to enlist me in the Imperial Legion. I told him no, and that if he ever came across me again, he would end up in the ground like the rest of the Imperials. After that, we went our separate ways. I decided to go back to Whiterun, hoping to encounter Hadvar and his Imperial dogs in the future. On my way back, I found a stump that was hollowed out that had quite a bit of gold in it. I decided to pick it up and take it just in case I needed it. For some reason, when we got back to Whiterun, the guards wouldn't let me in, so I decided to persuade them and let them know that I went to Helgen and noticed a dragon flying this way. Once we got into Whiterun, we went straight to the Jarl. Once we got to the Jarl's castle, we decided to talk to him. When I approached the Jarl's throne, his housecarl decided to draw her sword on me. It took every fiber in my body not to attack her. I let her know I needed to talk to the Jarl. It was important, about the dragon. She agreed it was top priority, so she let me speak to the Jarl. I spoke to the Jarl and let him know that there was a dragon that I seen fly past Helgen heading this way. He let me know that his mage Farengar had a project for me. He let me know that he wanted me to retrieve a stone from the crypt Bleak Falls Barrow. He told me that it would be a perilous journey and that it might be useless because the stone might not even be there, but I decided to do it anyway. After me and the mage were done talking, I decided to leave Dragonreach and head for the barrow. Alright guys, that's all I got for you on this episode. If you liked, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. If you have any input on how I can improve my videos, leave a comment. I'll try to read over them, see what I can do, and try to figure out how to do it. And don't forget to join us next time when we take over Bleak Falls Barrow and possibly kill a dragon. I can't say for sure yet, we'll see. And remember, don't do anything stupid.